What is up?
What is up, yo?
Vanilla Gorilla, Big
Sunday,
Dog,
another Sunday
Untouchables.
with
Let's
your
go.
favorite
Step in the
hostess
ring like kings
with
of the block.
mostest.
Gorilla grip, Big Dog, never stop. Iron in the veins, no gimmicks, no props. This is hard work, black top and body slops. Ain't no flash, just fists and fake. We run through ropes like we run through
It
gates.
can't be. This is crazy. And if nobody at home knows who this guy is, this is the Big Dog. Man, he did get a tip from the Brooklyn Prodigies earlier on that they had travel issues, but not due to them being scared or anything like that. But oh my gosh, the Vanilla Gorilla and the Big Dog and the Untouchables just inserted themselves into this tag team.
Elbows harder than a steel trash can. One shot, knock 'em flat on sight. Two beasts bred for the spotlight fight. They can talk tough, bark loud all night, but in the ring, we bite and we bite right. We are untouchables, NY bred. Two fists swinging, leave legends dead. Joey bring the rage, Dave bring the brain. Together we storm like a runaway train. Untouchable, New York style. We don't tap, we make them snap.
Yeah, what is up? What is up? Happy Sunday, happy fun day, happy Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever day it is. Happy fun day, Sunday, Monday. We are your favorite and number one podcast, Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. I am the host with the most, the Big Dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, and we are chilling today. And today our guest is Bada Boom, Bada Pink.
I'm going to say, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to say Chimolly Cigars. We have the owner, Sean, with us now. So let's bring him up and let's kind of get into it.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
What is up? What is
There
up?
he is.
There he is, my man, Sean.
There we go.
Sean,
How's it going?
what's going on, my man? How you doing, brother? How's everything? So thanks for taking the time out of your busy
Yes.
schedule. I know you're a couple of hours behind us. What is it? It's 6:30 here. It's 3:30 there.
Yeah, it's about like 3:30 over here in Cali.
Okay, now, so tell us and all of our new people and everybody watching a little bit about yourself, how you got into cigars, how you came up with your name of cigars, and what's next in line.
Perfect. So, me and one of my business partner, we get into cigar when we was in college. So we've been hanging out together for so long, and then one of the party, we met each other, and at that moment, we don't smoke cigars, but we want to do something that is more like celebrating. So we start with our first cigar, and since that, we keep smoking for almost like 7 years after. So at one point, probably around like 5 years, we've been trying to explore to different lineup in terms of the cigars, no matter the stronger strength or the lighter body like Connecticut. We try everything basically. And at one point we're thinking about like, maybe we should create something as interesting. So one of my business partners, his name is called Mike, and my name is Sean. So we were thinking about like, we should do a Mike and Sean cigars. But at that moment, it's just like a joke. And until we graduate from college, and then we're thinking about maybe we should get into the industry. But but it's extremely hard to getting access, especially from the tobacco side. So at first, we're trying to do the cigar ashtrays and humidor. That's one of our main thing. That we still keep doing it. So we do the made porcelain ashtrays and humidor. That's what we were trying to do at the first moment.
Okay.
And then we visit a lot of different shops to promote our product, but like ashtray accessories, ex- especially when you have a higher price, a lot of people doesn't buy into that because there's no margin with it. So
Right.
we met one of our mentor. He's also a lounge owner. He have a factory in Nicaragua. His name is Raul. He have a lounge in Pomona. It's called Mi Havana. So we went to that lounge and then we met Raul talking about our business thing, and he giving us like an idea like, oh, why not I help you to make your cigar. So at the moment we were thinking like, maybe we should consider about it. And after a week we starting the brand. And um, so starting from the original cigar accessory business to get into the actual cigar manufacturer business, it's only about like 2 weeks for the processing for us. But for our name, we already name it because due to the ashtrays. So we created four characters from Mandarin, starting from the first one over here. It's called Qing. So this character, it's the blue color on the ashtray. And then the second one is called Mo. So this color is basically dark ink, just like black color. So when you see from the Chinese ancient paint, you will have like the dark color. That's called Mo. And then Chong, which is the upper wear over here, and
Okay.
Ling is the bottom one. So both of the words means James and Jades. So we want to create a brand that just reminiscent like James and Jade. It's more towards to the elegant style. Is not overshining, but you still know that the materials and the foundation basically is solid and is elegant. That's what we're trying to create our brand.
Okay. So now you have to read from right to left on your cigars, correct?
Yeah. So starting from the right top and then right bottom. So starting from this character, Qing,
Yep.
this
Yep.
one,
Mm-hmm.
and second one is called Mo, and then the third words will be Chong, and then the fourth will be Ling. So
Oh.
in Mandarin it's called Qing Mo Chong Ling, and then in English it's called chimolly.
So how did you guys come up with that name, and how did you think that it was going to uh, sell? Like how did you guys say, oh, you know what, let's do this and see how it works? I mean, we've been doing this 4 years, and I've been smoking for over 25. But I've met a lot of guys we've had on here. They came on, they were out for a year and they folded. But what I'm asking is, how did you figure that it was going to hopefully make your pockets a little deeper?
I see. Yeah. So, I mean, in this industry is really interesting, especially right now. A lot of small boutique brands been coming up. So one of the important thing is you have to create that uniqueness. So we see a lot of big name and big brands. They can produce consistent cigar that's really high quality and good flavor. However, at some point, since you already know the product has been selling so well, so you will keep production. But there's some of the products that you can do the you can do a slightly twist or a different blend.
Right.
But for the big manufacturer, majority of the time, what they really craving for is that consistency. But for us, like boutique brands, there's more creativities that we can put it through for our business. So that's basically the balance of the market. Like majority of the people are still looking for the consistency when they want to trying to find some cigar that's perfect for gifting.
Right.
Right.
But let's say if we all enjoy cigar smoking, when we smoke a lot of the consistent stuff and then we want to try something that's pretty unique, then we will go to the boutique brands. So that's one of the things that we're trying to think about is we're not trying to, like catching up that big brands steps because it's extremely hard. They've been working super hard on at this business for over 100 years. Some of them over 400 years, right? So, like for us, we just start up. So we want to create that something that's really unique in this industry. So making kind of like a trigger for a lot of the smokers that is already been smoking for 20 years. They want to try something new in this market.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do.
I used to, and Joey will tell you, because Joey's been smoking since he's 18. He's going to be 28 come next month. So I've been smoking probably almost 25 years, and I've tried every cigar under the sun. And Joey will tell you, I paid $20 for a cigar. I paid $30, but I won't pay over $20 for a cigar no more. But we've had, like I said, we've had cigars on here that came on, they did their thing, and next thing you know, 3 months later they folded for whatever reason, funds, whatever. So I think what everybody would like to know is where can they find your cigars? Are they in New York? And can they order directly from you guys? Or do they have to order from a store? And how does it work? Can they buy bundles, a 5-pack, a 10-pack, a 20-pack, a 50-pack? How does that work?
Yes. So in New York area, we do have one of the shop. It's located. It's called Korean Tobacco Road. So it's nearby JFK. It's a really big store.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really big store. They do have our product over there. I think that's the only store around the New York area. But other than that, we do have a lot of like online platform, online retailers who do carry our stuff, like the major ones. So I believe it's more easier for people to type chimolly as a keyword, and then they can find the product either online, or if they're in New York, it will be perfect to visit the shop.
Right. I know you guys are in with Fox Cigar as well.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys did an exclusive with them. What made you guys kind of come together and do that? Is it a special blend just for them? Is it one of your blends kind of remastered? How'd you guys decide to do that?
Yeah, so for that cigar is specific for Fox. When we're trying to come up with this concept, is from last year before the PCA trade show when we met Mitchell. We already speak with each other for a long time before the trade show, and then having the concept that maybe we should create something that's really unique for him, because he wants something that is really, the flavor wise is really robust, but at the same time the strength is more towards to the medium. So he wants a cigar that's creamy. It also has the sweetness and then a little bit sourness from the just like Dynasty. So we create this cigar, Foxy Chimolly, for him.
So now let me ask you this, being that Joey touched on it. I haven't heard of Fox Cigar. Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
the same company that the same retailer that has their cigar that they did with them.
Okay, so now that you got something going with them, would you be willing, and I'm only asking, I'm throwing this out, I throw this to all the people out there. So if me and Joey came to you and said, hey, can you make us 100 cigars of Turnbuckles and Stogies pod? Now, would you send us some samples for us to try, or how does that work?
So right now at this moment, typically we're dealing with the retail shops at first, because of the first of all because of the quantity.
Right.
We are looking for we're looking for quantity. So for the blend, there's a minimum order for that. But we always want to create something that's really unique. So, for example, if there's any chances that both of you can visit Nicaragua with us, or maybe in the future you guys swing by Nicaragua, and then we are also at the factory as well. Feel free to get into the factory and then take a look, and then we can try something that's really unique. That'll be really interesting because you blended something that you're looking for, not just the blend from us, but also you're trying to blend something that you really enjoy. That'll be a really, really interesting concept, I'll say.
So
Okay.
for the people at home, kind of explain that to them, how it kind of works down in Nicaragua in the factory, because I think a lot of people love to hear that from the perspective of the owners, because, a lot of times you hear people visiting the DR and, like Costa Rica and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
don't have people who regularly visit
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua and all those regions like Esteli, Jalapa, stuff like that. So kind of explain to the people what it's like down there in the factory, especially working with Mi Havana cigars as well.
Yeah. Majority of the time, when we visiting Nicaragua, we go with Raul, and most of the time because Mike, he's the one of the other business partner. He's the one who control all of the blends because he's the blender of our company. So every single trip he had to went to Nicaragua. So most of the experience from him. Like right now at this moment, I still looking for my first trip because it's been so busy in California. So
Right.
I mean like in the States, so I need to running around to different locations. So I haven't get my first chance to visit Nicaragua. But based on what Mike telling me is like Nicaragua is a really good place to visit, especially in Esteli. You can get into a lot of different factory and then see how it works down there, see all of the tobacco field. So I would say it's a really, really enjoyment trip, especially when you have someone to taking care of you, like
Right.
taking care of from one factory to the other, or maybe like outsourcing the tobacco. There'll be an interesting process that I'm also looking forward to because I want to create something that I also enjoy as well. Like all of our lineup, it's phenomenal. I like it, but as as far as what I think, I still want to create something that
You want to be able to create
is like
something
personal. Yeah,
that you put
exactly.
out and say, these were, mine and Mike's blends together. Now
Mhm.
this one might be Mike's blend, and then this one is your blend that you made.
So
Mhm.
now,
You want to be able to walk into a shop and say, hey, here's our core line. Plus, here's my blend that I made, and then here's the blend my partner made as well. That's going to be
Exactly.
part of our line or like a special release, however you do it.
right.
And now you have something, like you said, attached to you and your personality and your palette of what you like to smoke.
So now
Exactly.
here's my thing for you, Sean. So who is and I'm only putting this out there because we like to know who we're talking to. I wish Mike would be on here with us or your other partner. Um, so who is the CEO of your company? Is it you? Is it Sean? Is it Mike? Is it somebody else?
Yeah. So in our company, we have three business partners. So I'm in charge with all of the marketings in America and also nationwide. So basically, everything will go through me for the in terms of the order or the interviews. I'll be the one who handle it.
Okay.
And Mike, he's the one who do the blends, and he's the one who making the decision. Like the majority of the decisions will be three of us. We coming out with the concept, and then afterwards we'll go through like from him. And also we have the third guy. His name is Wimbin. So he's the CEO of the company, and also he's basically in charge of all of the finance area. So yeah, that's basically the structure of our company.
Okay.
But everything is going super well because, for example, like the good way for us to having three business partner because like each person they have their own strength, right? So I'm really good with like talking with people, and then I'm really good handling the deals and then all of the personal like relationship stuff. And then
Mhm.
Wimbin, he's really good at financing, so he will be the guys who we can trust for all of our finance part. And Mike, he's the blender. He's the master blender because like he have palettes that a lot of time me and Wimbin we couldn't get it, but
I
after
was
we
just
tried
gonna
the
ask,
cigar,
does Ruben smoke cigars as well?
exactly. After we smoke it, the cigar, and he telling the flavor what it has on the cigar, and then when we do the retro hill, we get it. So that's really interesting to be honest. Like three of us, we have our own position, and that's why we're making this company really solid because everyone just focusing on their part, and then every
Right.
single week we come up with the meeting, and then we talking about like how's everything doing, and then we reviewing the process just like all of the corporates.
Right. You all have your own, like you said, your own strength, and you all know where your part of the business lies. You're not overstepping each other.
Right.
You're not, 'cause you get to a point in some companies where, too many hands in the blending process or in the money process or the marketing
Exactly.
process, can kind of mess up what you have going. Now,
Exactly.
that's not to say, running ideas by each other or testing blends together is
Yeah.
going to stop you from having a successful company because at the end of the day, like you said, there's three. You guys all need to be on the same page when it comes to not only the cigars, but the marketing aspect and kind of what your finances are looking like.
So now
Exactly.
let me ask you this. So you said you graduated college, then you guys were hanging out and you wanted to start smoking cigars and said, "Hey, why don't we make our own cigars?" Am I correct?
Yeah. So basically, it's like at first just a celebration thing for us. We want to because it's like one of our friends' birthday, so we want to
Right.
smoking cigars, and then and after we smoked the first cigars, we really enjoyed, and then we just figuring out why not there's get into more deeper into the cigar. So there's a lot of times that me and Mike we just buy a cigar, we take out the band, and then we hand it to each other, and then we smoke it. We taste different cigar, different blends, and then we telling like, oh, maybe this one is using Connecticut wrapper, maybe it's using San Andreas, maybe what's the binder or what's the filler. So
Right.
that's basically what we get into cigar at first. For the first 5 years before we're doing the business, we like to try a lot of different stuff, and then because a lot of time you might get biased when you having the ban on it, right?
Right.
When you're smoking it, you might
Yep.
thinking, oh, this cigar is pretty good, but with the ban on it, maybe you feel a different story. But
Right.
without the ban, if it's a good cigar, it's a good cigar.
Right.
Right.
So now let me ask you. So the one that I'm smoking, I believe it's the same one you are, the blue one with the.
So yeah, how did you come up with the names for each of your blends and kind of what is in each blend? Is I believe where you were going. with
Right.
that.
So now let's hold
Yeah.
on for that second. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with Sean, Chief Marketing Officer of Chimolly Cigars.
Hombre muerto.
What is up? What is up? Yo, we are back today. We are back with Sean from Chimolly Cigars. And I am the big dog. He is the Vanilla Gorilla. And we are Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. So,
Now, where we left off was we were going to talk about the names of your cigars
Yeah.
and the blends and kind of how you came up with how the names kind of correspond with the blends, because like I noticed the Habano is the Dynasty,
that's what I'm smoking.
and then the Maduro is the Pioneer. I didn't see a name for the Connecticut though.
Okay. So
Go
let
ahead
me
and
go
shoot it
through all of the lineup that we have. So starting from the Vanilla Gorilla have, it's that one. It's called Pengu. So that one we're using the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. The binder is from Nicaragua. The filler is a combination with Nicaragua and Dominican. And for that cigar is our first lineup. So we named it Pengu. Pengu is the guy who opened heaven and earth in Chinese mythology. And so back in Chinese history, Pengu is the first guy who opened heaven and earth. And which makes we have two different sizes in our cigar. Robusto and Robusto Extra. That's heaven and earth. And falling by the Dynasty, which is the blue one that we have over here. The Dynasty, this one is using the um, Corojo wrapper. So it's a Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper. With the binder, we're using San Andreas, Mexican San Andreas as a binder. The filler that we have is based on the Nicaraguan and Dominican composite. So that's from the Dynasty. And we name our second cigar Dynasty because following by the Pengu, there's so many dynasty in Chinese history. So we named Dynasty as our second line. And then following by the Pioneer. The Pioneer is the purple one that
Yep.
what that we have over here. So Pioneer, we're using Connecticut broadleaf as a wrapper. The binder is Nicaraguan. The filler is Nicaraguan and Dominican. This cigar we call it Pioneer because we want to. Right now, we're in the really unique market. We're in the American market, so we kind of want to be the pioneer of the Chinese methodologist cigar. So that's what we name it, Pioneer, for our third line.
And I'm personally like I like history, so kind of knowing and I'm a person that if there's a meaning to the logo or the band or something like that, we like to be able to have you guys tell that story, because essentially it gives people a chance to relate to the story behind the cigar.
Right.
And now do the colors correspond with each of these things as well, or did you just kind of pick the colors as you thought they would look best with which one?
Yes. So for the color wise, we just think like which color will be the best fit for the story.
Okay.
And then we're just figuring out like right now everything is really good. And then at one of the things we're figuring out from last year is everyone have saw the My Father Blue boxes, right? They've been selling out from all of the retail shops. So
Really?
that, yeah, especially in California, like a lot of people are smoking My Father Blue. The color is unique. The design is fantastic. The boxing and then everything. It's basically like when you going to lounge when you seeing the boxing. The first eye-catching boxes will be that. So that's one thing that we're looking forward to make in the future is the boxing like that, because It's really shiny. It's really eye catching. So at the first moment when you open the humidor, you will see that box. And just like this label that we create, because it's a Chinese character on it, a
Right,
lot
right.
of people will feel eye catching. And that's the most important things for us, especially right now, since we're a boutique company. We want that. We want that traction. We want that like people will feel interesting into our brand. People willing to taking from the shelf and then try to smoke it.
Right.
We just need one chance for like people grabbing from the shelf smoking. And based on our slogan, it's all about texture, the smoking texture. So when they're smoking the cigar, they know the texture it is. They will keep purchasing back to chimolly, and that's what we're looking for.
And I had heard about you guys through Instagram. It's how I found you. I forget when I had seen you guys first kind of
Pop
like
on.
hit market as far as I saw on Instagram. Um, and then I was kind of intrigued because the bands kind of caught my eye, and then I was like, okay, well, what's this? And then when we started this, I've been seeing you guys pop up over the last year or two. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm like, I gotta, reach out to them and see if we can make something happen. And then I forget we got so booked up ahead of time, and then now it's like, well, I have the opportunity. Let me reach out and see what we can do, because I had seen more of your stuff cutting out. More people were posting it up and smoking it, and people were saying great things about it. And then I was like, okay, well, these are people that I'm friends with, that I smoke what they smoke, or they'll smoke what I post. So when I was like, listen, let me just reach out and see what happens, and then I reached out, and your team was fantastic. They sent me your email. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
I think this is a great opportunity for us and for you guys as well. Let's kind of connect you with Sean and go from there. And then you were very responsive as well, as far as emails went, because you get a lot of people that I'll email and they'll go, yeah, I'll get back to you. And then I don't hear back from them for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, I just want to reach out. They're like, oh yeah, I found it. I meant to reach back out, and here's times and stuff like that.
I'm not knocking you, Joe. Can you find them on my page for me?
Yeah, because you're not spelling it right.
Oh. So let me ask you another question.
Yes.
All right, so find them on my page. So how much does your cigars go for in a retail store?
So in general, it depends on the retail places, but for our MSRP is around like $16 to $17.
That's not
Depends on the
bad.
That's not bad.
Yep. So Robusto and Robusto Extra, both of them should be around like $16 to $18. Depends on the area that you stay, or depends on the store that you visit. So it really depends on the retail store, but it's in between like $16 to $20 ish. So yeah.
That's actually not bad, because up here in New York, if it's a $15 cigar, it's going to cost us like $22 with tax and everything.
But there's also cigars that if we've had them,
Right.
or we've heard a lot of people that we know, talk about them enough, that we will, sometimes make that leap of that $17, $18 cigar and smoke it, because again, it's one of those, you never know what you're going to like until you try it, and you might not smoke it, and then let's just say whatever company it was goes out of business. Now you can't ever have the chance to smoke it because they're not being made anymore.
Exactly.
And I do like your boxes, by the way. I was looking, I looked on your website because I couldn't find them.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember what they look like, but I do like the fact that, each of the colors has a corresponding box, and then the box you guys did for Fox Cigar, I think kind of complements the darkness of the label.
Oh yeah.
Because you go from the dark brown and gold label to that bright blue box that's going to stand out on the
Exactly.
on the shelving.
It's a blue box.
And now
guys.
all your cigars come in Robusto and Robusto Extra.
Yes, correct.
So
Okay.
now, what is the Robusto Extra?
So, Robusto Extra, we just name it as a Cuban way, but it's basically the Toro size.
So that's what, if you look on the back of your, well, on the back of the label, you see it says Pioneer EX,
Yep.
and then it has the size.
Okay.
So that's what he's saying, is that it's Toro size, what they call it, the Extra.
You know what? It is what it is. I mean, hey, listen, whatever catches anybody's eye is what it's going to go through. And you know what? Myself and Joey I can show you. I have cigars here.
Oh yeah, I mean we have a bunch of them from
I have
so
a
many
cigar
different companies.
here that I have this one from United. This is
It's like a 4x60.
actually this is not. This is 54 by 3.9.
So now let me ask you this: have you guys considered branching out your sizes, or do you have anything new in the upcoming year?
Yes. So for the new year, especially for this year PCUJ show, we are going to release a new size. It's called Grand Corona. So basically, for 3 of our blends, we are going to make a special double Corona size.
Wow.
The double
Yeah.
Corona. So that's like that when we went to Barn Smoker.
Yep.
And you got that really long H99.
Yep.
That's the double Corona size.
But listen, there's nothing wrong.
What is that?
with
That's like a 7x49 or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, we're trying to do maybe like 7 by, depends on the ring gauge, maybe 52, maybe 50, depends on the blends, because you need to taste the blends to making sure everything is tasting the same, because an inch of ring gauge change, the cigar change the flavor as well.
Right.
So we want to making sure, especially when you're doing a longer length cigar, a lot of like tar will build in as well. So we want to making sure that the original flavor is similar in terms of the sizing. So that's one of the things that for all of our cigar company, when they trying to blend the cigar, you see with the same band on it, but the composite, the inside will be different, because the master blender is trying to making sure all of the cigar will taste similar, and then making sure that it's super consistent. That's the
You want to make sure it's consistent throughout whatever size you decide to make, whether it's a Robusto, a Gordo, a Toro, a Grand Toro, which is like a 6x58 or whatever it is. If you don't have master blenders that are trying to
help you
in that way, there's a lot of people that we've seen blend for Robusto and then take that same blend and put it in a Toro, and it doesn't work, and then take the same, or they'll blend for a Toro and put that same amount of tobacco into the Gordo, and then it still doesn't taste right.
Exactly.
And then they go, and then they do, I don't know what's going on. And, when you start asking questions like we are now and kind of just having a normal conversation we would have in a lounge, you start to realize that either they don't know the process enough, or they're not dealing enough with the master roller and blender to make that process happen flawlessly.
Correct.
Exactly.
So, because I'm.
So, what is your aging process like before the cigars hit the market, from the time they're rolled, or they're tested and finalized and rolled, and then how long do they sit before you essentially put them to market?
Yeah, typically after rolling, we need to age at least half year for all of our cigar, because first of all, the differences in between box age and factory age, there's tons of differences, especially when you age your cigar in factory. The ammonia gets out faster because it's not with the cellophane yet. So it's more easier to get up that ammonia, and then when you're trying to pack the cigar doesn't taste that fresh. But a lot of the cigars, when you open the box and you smoke one, you still think that the cigar is fresh. They might be aging for a couple months at the place, but it's already been boxing, so there's no air exchange in
Right.
between that process. So a lot of time you will still getting that freshness from the cigar, and that's why how important that for our cigar we want to let them age at least half year, so that the cigars before we shipping out we will do the testing and making sure the ammonia is all go out, so when people smoking it they can still having the original flavor that we were trying
Right,
that we're
because
producing
you
right
don't
now.
want them to get the tobacco too young, essentially,
So now,
which has been something that I've seen, and having worked for a company for a little while, and seen that side of the testing and stuff like that, and then now just doing this and smoking some of these cigars, you can kind of pick out right away what hasn't aged long enough, what's if it's aged 60 days, maybe another 30 days and it'll be like just right where you want it. And
Exactly.
then obviously if you age it longer than that, the blend will tend to strengthen depending on obviously the ammonia and the quality of the tobacco, what is left to age out essentially will elevate the blend sometimes.
so now,
Exactly.
let me ask you this question. So you're talking about the aging and all of that. So we've been to, I don't know, 30 barn smokers, and within the 30 barn smokers, we've had them show us all the cigars. They'll make sure that door shuts. We've had them show us all the cigars, hanging on a tree, hanging on a limb, and everything else. So, how long does yours take to hang on a tree? And how long does it take for it to sit on a tree? And I say the tree, it's actually just a branch. The branch that it sits on before you can uh, make a cigar with it.
Okay, so that's a really interesting question because for us right now, uh, I believe like majority of the boutique brands, when they trying to get the tobacco, it's already been processed tobacco. So majority of the time you getting from the big factory, they already do the fermentation process. So you went over there just to do the selection, regardless for your which tobacco that you're looking for. So for that part, since we're not having our farm yet, so we're not sure about that process. But eventually, if we do get a chances that we can have a farm, then it would be a really really interesting process because basically that's a whole lineup being complete. The hardest part is to own a farm, to having a farm to maintain, and then making sure all the tobacco leaves come up with the consistency. And that's
Okay.
why for us, like for all of our tobacco, it's the resources is all from the big manufacturer because their tobacco is consistency. That's the most important part for all of the boutique cigars because
Right, right.
when you're trying to collect a tobacco that's really consistent, the cigar that you produce out will be solid. But if you're trying to get some tobacco that's super unique, and it will get really fantastic for a batch or two, but maybe next year the flavor will get a change, a huge change. So that's why I mean it's really important to get the tobacco that's um, from the big name factory,
Right.
so that the consistency issue you don't have to worry about that.
So let me also ask you. So, and you don't have to say it. Excuse me. What is the factory that you guys use to make your cigars?
So as far as I know, because that part will be rely on Raul. So Raul is the guy who helped us to selecting went to all of the factory for the assets. But I know we do outsource tobacco from AJ from Egan Morsa too. So both of them.
So, have you ever used Ismail Olivan, which is BAMF ROCF cigars?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we use that.
So, I think what you should do, and it's just I'm just throwing it out there because I tell everybody, it's called TPA. It's called Tobacco Pipes Association. What it is when they went to New Orleans, the sheriff or whoever it was said you couldn't smoke in the convention center. So they decided to create TPA, and with TPA, what it is they started this. They rented out a warehouse, and the only way you can get in the warehouse is if you were a TPA member or you knew somebody in the TPA. So I guess what I'm suggesting to you is to join them. I think it's like
Well, no, that's I don't know what it is for.
no, I think it's like $100 for you guys.
So basically, I don't know if he explained it to you, but
Wow, let's get
what they do is essentially connect company owners like yourself with manufacturers, distributors,
guys like us.
retailers, podcasters, and customers. So it kind of connects you with everybody in the industry.
I mean, we've had I don't know. We've been doing this 4 years, and they started this last year.
I mean, we've definitely it's
So-
helped us as far as
They've connected us with
right,
probably 30 people,
if not more.
if not more. We've had Hayes Gray. We've had we got Madre Tierra coming on. We've had Ishmael Olivan on, who was actually Ish is our first guest that ever came on a podcast and rolled our cigars.
Yeah, he rolled cigars live on our show last year.
No,
Yeah,
3 years ago.
no, it wasn't 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago he rolled them.
No, it wasn't 3 years ago.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. 3 years ago we had started the show.
Right, and 3 years ago is when Ish rolled our
No, he
cigars.
rolled it if not 2 years. No, it would have been 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago, 24.
Sorry, this is why people like us, because we just go back and forth. So, anyways, where was I?
Yeah, going to the TPA.
Yes.
Yes. So, when you go to, have you been to TPA before?
No, from the last year we only went to trade show. We only went to the PCA.
So, are you going to TPA this year?
I think for this year it's around like the same time, around like March, right?
Yeah, it's March or April. I know they are. I know the TPA is doing something as well this year. I don't remember where they're doing it, but they're doing something as well, kind of like a PCA deal. But a lot of times what they specifically specialize in is boutiques. You know, it's all boutique companies, it's all boutique brand owners, and people like us who we specialize in the boutique world as far as podcasting goes. We love the big brands. Like, we have our big brands that we try to get on as well, but a lot of our stuff is also boutique, which is good because that's kind of where a lot of our friends are. There are a lot of boutique brand owners. That's kind of how that came about. Was when PCA decided you couldn't smoke, they decided to do this,
Yeah.
And this way, if you were a member as a brand owner or a consumer or a podcast or whatever, and you were out there, you would have a place to smoke.
So on that note, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Sean, CFO of Chimolly Cigars.
See you guys.
What you got, why you got it good. Always just a little misunderstood. But I never tried to change you, even when you're drunk all day. Every time you break, oh, it breaks my heart. Watching you drown yourself and fall apart. You're killing yourself, and it's killing me to have to say. Though it hurts so much, 'cause I love you. You were my best friend. You were my muse. The story with a good end. My rhythm blues. You were my soulmate. A damaged man. And I paid for it. As much as I think I can. And I thought in the end you'd miss me. But I guess I wasn't stronger than the whiskey. I've heard it only hurts 'cause you love so deep. Letting you go after all the cheap shots you take of me and Jameson. Your daddy don't help, no, he feeds you lies. And you're wondering why you can't sleep at night in the bed I made. Oh, I thought you were the one, 'cause you were my best friend. You were my muse. The story with a good end. My rhythm blues. You were my soulmate. A damaged man. And I paid for it. As much as I think I can. And I thought in the end you'd miss me. But I guess I wasn't stronger than the whiskey. Oh, it hurts so much 'cause I love you. And you were my best friend. You were my muse. The story with a good end. My rhythm and blues. You were my soulmate. A damaged man. And I paid for it. As much as I think I can. And I thought in the end you'd miss me. You and I would be never ending. But I guess I wasn't stronger than the whiskey. Oh, not stronger than the whiskey.
We're here, guys. We're here. What's up? Hold on. Here we are. There we go. All right. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm enjoying your cigars. I really am. This is the first time I've smoked it. The burn quality is fantastic. The draw, what I like is the fact that the draw is effortless. It's not a tough draw. You're not essentially sucking for air. Which is very hard to find, especially with some of the bigger companies. But I do enjoy the fact that there's a story behind it, especially how you guys came kind of into the business. You just you started smoking as a celebration, and now here you are, however many years later, with your own brand. And I know you guys have a good partner out there in Mi Havana Cigars, because I've seen some of their stuff. The fact that he kind of came to you guys, like you said, and was willing to work with you is a big thing, because you don't find that too often in this industry.
Exactly.
Now, have you guys, besides Fox Cigars, have you guys considered doing special projects for maybe the Mi Havana lounges or stuff like that?
I think for the following year, we're having some of the projects that we're focusing on right now. But right now, at this moment, what we're thinking, there might be chances that we can set up the event in Mi Havana as well for the cigar event, chimolly cigar event. But it would depends on Raul's schedule as well,
right?
And also our schedule, because after the trade show, I believe we will be running around to different.
I was gonna say you'll probably be after that show. You'll probably be on the road most of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Especially we have to visit the East Coast at first, because when it's snowing during the seasons like October till February, everything is like slow and cold over there in the East Coast. So we definitely have to visit them before September. So there'll be a lot of like trips going around in the northern part, and also tours to Florida and Atlanta.
Right. Oh, and that's a good thing that you have your schedule set out to come to the East Coast, because there is a lot of potential out here for sure. As far as like lounges go, or even there's a lot of smoke shops now that have walk-in humidors. Like my thing with a boutique brand, and I've kind of from learning from some of these lounge owners, you as a brand owner have to partner kind of with lounges that specialize in boutiques or promote new cigars, because you could put these cigars in their shop, but if they're not promoting them, then they're just kind of sitting on the shelves. Exactly. Nobody knows who they are, and then it goes into the, as I call it, when it doesn't move, it goes into the discount bin.
Yeah.
And now that they're getting rid of them, everybody's starting to smoke them because they're put on a cheaper price, and now everybody's enjoying it, but that lounge won't bring them in because they didn't move.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why right now for us, the most important part is we have business partner in the Midwest. So basically, we have the business partner around the Northeast. So we have a broker, CMM Broker. Shout out to them. Thank you, Crystal and Mike. They help us to running around the shops and all of the facility, all of the lounges over there. So yeah, everything is doing well, because when you having a connection with the broker will help you to run all of the relationship, and then afterwards you will get the feedbacks from the broker, and then we can make the decision, and then broker can talk with all of the shops, and then making sure the shops will get satisfied, and making sure also at the same time we can do our best to make all of the lounges satisfied with all of the items that what we're trying to create, or maybe in terms of the deals that can be
Right.
from the customer. So yeah,
Now,
that's important when you have a broker in the area.
right. My thing would be, as if you do decide, if you have stores on the East Coast besides the one in New York, the one thing I would say is maybe try to see, like you said, when you're coming out here and try to set up some events as well so that people can kind of meet you guys and see the owners behind the brand. Because
Exactly.
I know that that's a big thing is a lot of stores will just get the reps or the brokers when, it's nice to have the owners there because you can kind of pick their brain and, hey, I really only smoke, light to medium or medium cigars. What do you recommend? Granted, a lot of the brokers are going to know what they're talking about, but they may not know that this Connecticut would work even for a full body smoker or for somebody just beginning. There are some brokers that don't know that.
Right.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. So what do you do if somebody's, let's say you go to J&R's in Paramus, where we hang out all the time, and somebody's sitting there and you're doing an event, and they go, hey, I'm drinking this bourbon or this whiskey. What pairs good with this cigar? What would you say about that?
Okay, that's a really interesting topic that I'm trying to talk with you guys and all of the listeners on the podcast. So basically, for this cigar pairing, what I figuring out is, especially from our cigar, like for example, Pengu, that we're my next cigar, Pengu. So for this cigar, uh, it's more creamier. It's more having that toasty nut flavor. So it will be phenomenal going with a cup of coffee. But in terms of the spirit, I would recommend rum with Pengu, because rum is more sweet, and then a lot of time it will bring out that sweetness, and then you will feel
Right.
this one. It tastes like it has kind of like a caramel uh, flavor inside, because that sweetness from rum plus
Mm-hmm.
the creaminess from the cigar. So it will create something is really interesting. And then for the Dynasty, I will say Dynasty is really good with. If you guys do like Scotch, it will go well with Sherry Cask. It
Okay.
go well with Sherry Cask, and also at the same time, like for Pengu, I think bourbon will be the best for all of the bourbon lover, because bourbon is also more sweeter compared to Scotch.
Right.
So if that's a lot of people, if they don't like rum because rum is insanely sweet, then bourbon
Right.
will be a good choice with Pengu. And then Scotch, especially with the sherry cask or the Oloroso cask, will be good with Dynasty, because Dynasty had that fruity sourness from the cigar. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I from what I'm figuring out. And then, for example, like the Pioneer, I will 100% recommend with bourbon, because Pioneer is more heavy and it already had the sweetness. So if you like something is really sweet, go with the bourbon. There's
That might
nothing wrong
even
with it.
that might even pair good even as well with a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
Depending
yeah,
on what you put in them, obviously. But like I do a lot of coffee myself, so that's kind of like my biggest pairing. I do drink liquor or spirits once in a while, depending on what I'm in the mood for.
yeah.
But a lot of my pairings are based around coffee, and that's because that's what I enjoy. But I have found a lot of times that sometimes, like you said, the darker Maduros or the broadleafs, even I found it out, either pair well with a nice cup of coffee or either a liqueur, depending on this, like you said, the
Mhm.
sweetness of it.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know, I've gone like even coffee liqueur or like a Like Jameson has that cold brew whiskey.
Mhm.
I've done that. I've done
What was the one we did with Maddie at the J&R's?
Sagmore.
Sagmore.
Sagmore. They do like a sherry cask. They do a Manhattan mix, but it's already like made in the bottle, like you just drink it. It's like
Yeah,
they take it and age it like Manhattan style through the
Yep,
barrels and
yep,
everything. It's a really interesting concept.
exactly. And then one of the
Yeah.
drink I want to mention is tequila. So a specific tequila from Damemas. So Damemas Extra Añejo tequila. That's one of the best tequila. It has that syrupy texture. It
Okay.
tastes really similar to rum. It doesn't feel like it's a tequila, but it's a tequila, and it goes super well with Dynasty. I don't know what's the reason why, but when we tried that
It
the
truly
liquor,
depends. There are some
it's
times where
insane.
you may not expect it to go good, and as I call it, the oddball, spirit or liquor will stand out more with a certain cigar than what, like you might think. Let's just say a dark uh, whiskey would go better with the Pioneer, and then it turns out a Reposado tequila tastes a whole lot better with that than what you
Exactly.
originally thought. I mean, I've
Exactly.
seen it done, and it blows your mind because it's like there's no way that this should taste this good with this. It's supposed to pair well with this.
Correct.
Exactly. And one thing about the pairing concept is because you want to get both of the flavor, so you don't want something is overpowering
Right.
from one of the side. So let's say, for example, if I'm smoking a Pengu, which is a light cigar, so I'm not drinking whiskey that has peat flavor inside,
Right.
right? Something is super super strong while covering the cigar itself. So I I'll say it would depends on what you're looking for at first. If you're looking for something to drink, or if you're looking for specific, for example, let's say if you truly want the pairing, then you have to find a balance. But if you just want something to drink,
Right.
then you can either decide that you want to giving more cigar flavor or more on the spirit
Right.
flavor.
And I think even with this, again, I haven't had it, so I won't know. But I'm definitely gonna smoke these like they are now, and then maybe get them again or order them from somewhere and have them, and then try this Pioneer with like a Guinness, the extra stout, the really dark one, and
Yeah.
see how that pairs together. Because I think that might be like a beer pairing. I think that might kind of go well because, like you said, it's got the thickness to it,
Exactly.
and it's got that like chocolate bite, but not like overpowering.
Yes.
And again, I'm gonna pair them. Well, the other two I'll probably pair with coffee.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I love my coffee with my cigars. It's just something I've
Absolutely.
done since I started smoking. Everybody I smoked was like, oh, coffee. Yes, the spirits are nice to like, but there's nothing like that coffee and cigar. Even if you have it 2 or 3 times throughout the day, they're like,
Absolutely.
smoke a different cigar each time, and you'll notice the difference in the pairings with the coffee and the cigar.
Correct.
Absolutely. Like for example, like myself, I'm not in I'm not a coffee expert, but
Right.
as far as what I experienced with Colombia coffee, it has
Yep.
more sourness. So I would say for Colombia coffee is really good with Dynasty. It would
I
be
can
a
see
really
that.
good pairing with Dynasty. And coffee, it's more mild. So some of them from is it called it's Ethiopia or something? It's an
Um,
African country. I forgot the
yeah,
name.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of
Ethiopia
it.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they also growing coffee as over there as well. The coffee they make is really different from Colombia. So that's also just like tobacco leaf, right?
Right.
When you're growing the crops from one or other different country, let's say when you're growing the tobacco from Nicaragua and the one from Dominican from Honduras, it tastes totally different. It
Hmm.
tastes different.
And that's all got to
So
do, again, that goes back to the soil aspect of it,
exactly, exactly.
which I've had to learn, through doing this podcast and kind of picking the brains of friends of mine who have been in the industry for so long and learning, what's the difference in, why does Honduran taste like this? And then why does, Nicaraguan have such a bite and this and that, again, they always tell you it goes back to the way it's cured and the soil it's grown in. Because then
Exactly.
you have like in Nicaragua, you have the Ometempe tobacco,
Yes.
which is like grown in like the volcanic area of Nicaragua, where that's got more of an uh, it's the way they explain it was like an ashy taste, but it also like it strengthens the leaves even more because of where it comes from.
Yeah. And
It's
then
interesting, and the fact that you did your Ecuadorian Habano, and then you did the Ecuadorian Corojo. You don't see a lot of Corojo rappers nowadays,
mhm,
and I feel like like I said to somebody else, they did we had them on the show. They did a Sumatra, a Criollo, and a Corojo rapper. And I feel those are the lost arts of the tobacco rappers because a lot of times only used as fillers.
yes, correct.
What made you choose the rappers you chose for the cigars?
So, for example, like the first lineup, what's the reason why we're using Habano? Because Habano is the most commonest wrapper that you can get. That's the first thing. The second thing is Habano. Majority of Habano is more towards to that medium strength, so that it's more easier to play around with that tobacco. You can blend something that's really interesting with Habano, and then let's say Corojo wrapper. Corojo wrapper, when you smoke it itself, it's really distinct
Right.
and it has a unique spice, and that's the reason why that we picking this wrapper with the San Andreas, because San Andreas itself is super sweet when you smoke the leaf originally, and then when you combine the wrapper with Corojo, it will bring out the Corojo spiciness, and then the sweetness will also catching up. So it will be a perfect balance for that, and that's what we're figuring out for the Dynasty blend.
Right. No, that's like I said. That's a question I always ask, especially when I hear like a Corojo or a Sumatra, because a lot of people or a lot of companies don't use those in their first essential like lineups. That'll be a few years down the line. They'll do like a Corojo or a Sumatra
Yeah,
or a Criollo, where like Angry Beaver, who we had on, and Madre Tierra, who's coming on, has used a Sumatra, a Corojo, a Candela, a Cameroon. There's rappers that aren't normally used nowadays, I feel, or at least not as much as they used to be,
yeah,
to now, they're being used a lot more by the boutique companies rather than the big names.
exactly.
And I
And just
think
like
I think a lot of the big names are getting not offended, but I think they're getting upset that boutique companies are going and they're purchasing other
Well, I think what it is
things to
they're coming
make their
in,
cigars better than,
right, and I think what it
like,
is
with
they're coming.
AJ and all of them guys. I love them guys, but I think what they do is they just take their label and they slap it on another cigar and they say, "Hey,
Well,
here's AJ
and
Fernandez,
I think
1965."
what you're getting at is the fact that it took them so long to build up where they are. You have smaller companies like yourself, like Angry Beaver, like Grouchy Monkey, like Domain, who are coming into the business, and impeding on their territory. And there are a lot of companies that will say that, and then there's a lot of companies that are willing to help. Like if you find certain people that are willing to help you and test your blends out, like we had a few different, as I call them, higher ups in the cigar world. When we decided to do our own blends, we had, we were just kind of talking to them, and they're like, hey, we'd love to taste your stuff and, kind of give you our feedback. And they've been around the business for 30, 40 years. It's like, yeah, of course, I would love your feedback, because those are the guys that are like, we're not here to hinder you. We're here to help you.
Right.
We're here to give you the guidance of, hey, tweak this or tweak that, or, maybe do this or do that, and then you can say, hey, listen, not only did we blend it, but we had, advice or hands in it from this one and that one. And it's like, whoa, if they're getting hands from them already, and they're just starting, where's their company going to go if they capitalize on it?
Right.
Exactly.
Now, have you guys considered maybe box pressing some of your cigars at some point, or is that something you guys maybe maybe down the line, but is that something you've kind of played around with?
Right now we're still focusing on the Parejo shape, because one thing about the box press is sometimes for the box press cigar, they compared to the Parejo, when you smoking it, box press is more loose on the draw. So
Right.
a lot of time, the box press might be smoking faster than the Parejo. So, and the other thing is about like box press is when you pressing the cigar, the flavor will change also. So when you're trying to blend a box press and the Parejo is more easier, because when you're trying to blend it, it's already a circle. But when you're doing a box press, that your tobacco will get squeezed, so a lot of the composite will be changed. And when you lighting the cigar, it might be extremely well, or it might be bad, because
Right.
the composite is different.
Well, that's
So
when they told us that.
that's why.
They did tell us, one of the guys did tell us that when you box press it, the reason that it's box press is because when you're smoking it, you get the air into your,
Because
into
your mouth
lips.
isn't fully like wrapped around the cigar, so you still have the sides open. He said, and that's why box press is such a popular size, because when you're smoking, by the time the smoke hits your palate, it's already cooled. So you're getting that full effect of what that cigar is supposed to taste like. But again, not every company does box press.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is a harder size to blend, because like you said, it can either be packed too tight or packed too loose, depending on, if you go for a hard box press or a soft box press. That kind of all depends on, essentially the blending and the bunching as well. Now,
Especially like, let's say, majority of the box press cigar that we see on the market is all on the darker side, right?
right.
Because the tobacco leaf have more oil inside, so it's more easy to stretch. But you rarely see a box press Connecticut, because it's so easy to get cracked. So when you box press a Connecticut, when you, no matter like transferring from factory to the local shop, there might be some of the cigars that it's already cracked out.
Right.
So that's one thing about like box pressing. You rarely see them in Connecticut. Majority of them, they're all in the darker side.
The Habanos or the Corojos and Cameroons and stuff like that. Yeah, no, there's not very many of them on the market.
No, there's not. So have you guys ever thought about doing a Cameroon in a round size or a box press?
So first of all, is Cameroon wrapper itself, it's really extremely hard to get. So it will be a really good project for us to doing it, but first of all is the resources, right?
Right.
We want to create something that the cigar can last for longer period instead of like the short term. So we might can if there's possibility that we can get Cameroon wrapper, we 100% want to try it out, and then we want to blend it with something is really unique flavor inside. But that's first of all the assets. Second of all is how are you going to keep production this cigar? That would be
Right.
the key question for us, because end of the day, you still want to selling your product on the shelf, not just like a one-time deal, and then afterwards people are chasing for that cigar, but you run up the tobacco, and you have to turn down all of the consumer that
Right.
already entrust your brand. So that's why for us, the most important thing is the tobacco consistency. That's the first thing that we're looking for. So we're looking for the tobacco is more easy to get from the market. And then when you're trying to blend that, no matter the cosecha that you have, the flavor will be the similarities will be really really close.
Right.
So there'll be not a lot of like differences in between um, the interesting wrappers that you can get.
Now let me ask you this: what is your favorite cigar that you guys have made, or what is your favorite cigar to smoke, and the size that is? What is your favorite cigar from your line that you guys have had a hand in blending and making? And then what is your favorite cigar outside of your own brand? And what is your favorite size?
Yeah. So for me personally, my favorite cigar in our chimolly line is the Foxy Chimolly, because that cigar giving me the balance, the sweetness, and also a hint of the sourness that you can get from the cigar itself. So I really, really enjoy Fox cigar, Fox and Chimoli. That's my personal go-to. And then in terms of the regular lines that we have, my favorite is Pengu. Pengu is like the cigar I can smoke no matter what time, no matter what day, no matter the condition, because this cigar is more towards to mild and medium. So if I smoke as my first daily smoke with the cup of coffee, it'll be enjoy. Or if that's my last cigar, I didn't feel that strength when I trying to sleep. So this cigar, that's the reason why I like Pengu so much. And beside our company, uh, there's one cigar that I really want to mention as a unique size. It's from Pogamirian. So it's a PG cigar, the Lancero size. So I believe it's a PG number one. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite cigar. It has a sweetness. It's been extremely smooth. So yeah, that cigar is phenomenal.
You ever heard of them?
I don't think I have.
I have to look them up on Instagram.
That's
So
one brand I can say I don't think I've
So
heard
I've
of.
never heard of Pocamiri. So what do they make?
yeah, so Pogamirian cigar, based on their resources, is basically Davidoff. So they get Davidoff cigars being aged. So most of their cigars been aged for a long period. So a lot of time when you see them on the market, it's already been aged for 10 years, 15 years, or even plus. So that's why those cigars taste phenomenal, because it has, first of all, it has Davidoff tobacco inside. The second of all is it's already been aged for so long, so the cigar itself it tastes extremely smooth, and that's what I'm trying to chasing for in our cigar too. It's all about texture, right? It's all about smoking texture. That's the most important things that in all of the when we're trying to smoke a cigar, if the texture is phenomenal, first of all, you will think this cigar is a premium cigar. So that's why I really enjoyed that cigar.
That's a brand I don't think I've ever actually heard of or seen.
Yeah, so usually you'll see as like a PG logo. Yeah, you can just type PG and then I believe you can find it.
Wow, that's something I never even heard of, and I've been smoking a long time. But they also just purchased Nat Sherman, I believe, or was that the other guy that purchased Nat Sherman?
There was a few. No, Nat Sherman was bought by Herklotz.
Yeah, it's Ferratago, right?
Yes,
Ferry Ortego. Yep.
So, what else do you have for this gentleman?
That's interesting. I think we've covered quite a bit. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Anything you're working on?
I mean, you could tell us about you going
stuff
to PCA,
like that,
things like that,
or your experience at PCA as a boutique company.
Oh yeah, so last year it's kind of funny because it's our first year. We went to the trade show, so everything is really new to us. And let me tell you one of the funny story that how we met with the brokers CMN that we have so far. So at the end of the trade show, so I believe it's on Monday. So I saw Mike. He pulling out his like instant coffee machine, and then he was trying to light up a cigar with his cup of coffee. So at that moment, I think maybe that's my chance. So
Your broker, actually, not to cut you off, your broker, I actually know her. I met her.
Yeah, Crystal and Mike.
Yes, Crystal. Yeah. That used to work for Omar.
Oh, yeah.
That opened her own brokerage.
Yes.
Yeah, I happen to, because you said CNM, and I'm like, and I looked her up, and I said, wait a minute. I'm like, I know who she is. She's a very good asset to have on your team as far as a broker goes. She knows exactly what she's talking about.
Exactly. And then, like, from us is like, so I saw this opportunity. I hand a cigar, a Robusto size Pengu, to Mike, and then I tell Mike like, hey, I know you're drinking coffee right now. I feel this cigar will be really good with coffee pairing. So I hand him the Pengu Robusto, and then he smoke it. He likes it, and then he tell me the truth at the trade show. Like at that moment, they're basically like full with all of the brands, so they couldn't taking care of our brands. But after like 3 months after, Mike reached out to us, and then he just telling me like, hey, will it be possible if we can sign the brokerage with your company? And I was like, absolutely. We were waiting for this for so long.
So we actually know Michael as well.
Mike is a very
Mike
good
is
friend
a good friend of ours as well. So we actually know both of your
brokers.
Your brokers. We met Mike quite a few years ago at an event when he was brokering for Aganorsa at the time.
Oh yeah, they also doing the broker.
We had come across him at that event when he was working for another brokerage, and he had given us kind of like the Aganorsa experience. You know, smoking the 3 little Parejos, and then here's the full cigar. Like I think it was the 3 Parejos, and then it was the Lunatic. Yeah. And smoke this or whatever it was. So we actually know, ironically, both of your brokers. I didn't know he was the M in CNM though.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until I just kind of was like,
Google it.
I Googled M, and I'm like, let me just see if I was right. And then sure enough, it was both of them. So that's actually, those are 2 very good assets to have on your team, because I've had dealings with both of them. As far as Mike, when he was brokering for another company or another brokerage, I believe, and he was pushing Aganorsa and I think Haram Solomon and a few other brands.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met Crystal when she was working for Fratello as a rep.
Yes, that was her.
That's Crystal.
Up in
Crystal Cigars.
That was
Yes,
up in
Kevin's place.
Oh goodness gracious me, oh my!
Yes, that's who they have. Him and her and Michael have a brokerage together, which really
Yeah.
isn't bad because they both know exactly what they're talking about.
Correct.
And if
Exactly.
anybody's going to push your cigars, it's going to be them because they know a lot of people. They're always pushing cigars on Facebook or Instagram, whatever platform they're using. So
we gotta have Mike and them on here.
that is actually something I did not know, that they formed a brokerage. I didn't know he was the M until just now.
I see. Yeah, because like Crystal, she posts she posts a lot of Instagram
Yes.
stuff on her Instagram. So yeah, that's why but Mike doesn't Mike doesn't play around with Instagram, but Crystal does. So
No, but he posts a lot on Facebook.
Yes.
He does, or he used to do a lot on Facebook.
He doesn't really do much anymore.
Well, remember, if him and her partnered to run their own brokerage, he's probably dealing with a lot of the other stuff besides selling the cigars.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, my brother, we appreciate you taking the time to come on here tonight. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And listen, you ever want to come back, just hit one of us up.
And when you decide to do your East Coast run, let us know. And if we can help you out and meet you in some of the lounges that we know, we'll for sure do what we can to help you.
Absolutely. I think we were visiting New York area, New York, New Jersey around May.
Okay.
So if there's chances that we can visiting, because we were going out with Crystal and Mike. So yeah, maybe we can meet at one of the shops at night after all of the work's been done. I believe it would depend, because New York is such a big state, so I'm not sure
big. Jersey,
which part.
Jersey's big too.
Yeah.
But Jersey, I know a lot of lounges in Jersey as well.
Oh, we have so many
we're forever all over Jersey, traveling to get cigars and going to meet people and smoking and going to events and stuff like that. So, we've got lounges from basically the border of New York and New Jersey all the way to the shore.
Oh yeah. I saw there's a gentleman on always online. He do the Instagram stream. His name is Sanj.
Yeah,
Sanj is a good friend of ours.
I will tell you, Sanj is a tough nut to crack. He's brutally honest. Like if you don't like brutally honest people,
don't go to him.
And brutally honest about your cigars, because he'll flat out tell you if it sucks.
That's what we're trying to looking for,
he's one of those guys that will, I've seen him on lives with me and other people. He's cut open his own cigars to prove that they're a long filler. He will take the bands off and take a razor blade and go like this.
And cut it open and
show you, look, they're all long filler. Nobody does that. So if you're looking for brutally honest, Sanj is the guy to go to, but he's also a very, very hard shop to get into.
Correct.
Exactly.
But again, you have the brand, you have the boxing, you have kind of what he looks for as far as that stuff goes. But again, until he smokes your cigars, it may not be a done deal.
Right.
Exactly. For us, we always been looking for a lot of different owners, different customers, because that's the diversity of the cigar world, right? There's a lot of people will say you in the good way, but there's a lot of people will think the cigar is not that great. But we have to take all of the opinion, because if you want your company to grow, you have to take it. So
for sure.
I mean, as a brand owner, you have to be kind of having that mindset that all of the customer, all of the lounge owner, what they telling you, you might not be able to taking it at the first moment.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you sleep, you were thinking about what he mentioned. Because, for example,
100%.
the owner always know their own customer, so they know what their customer is looking for. That's why when they trying to bring the cigar in his shop, in his shop or her shop, he wants something that all of the customer will be purchased, and
Right,
that's what we are looking for, right? We don't want to get into a shop that the owner might be super easygoing, but the product never moves.
right,
We rather have the owner that it's always can telling bats on our cigar or other cigars, right? But the cigar moves because
right,
you getting that improvement in the future, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking
right,
for improvement in this industry, not just like easy going and then the
right,
product never moves. So yeah,
right. Well, listen, thank you for jumping on with us. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with us and kind of teach us about your brand. I'm looking forward to smoking these other two. I'll make sure to let you guys know, what I think of them. I mean, this Connecticut, or Habano, I'm very much enjoying. So I'm
absolutely.
excited to try the other two. I know this one is going to be good. The the Pioneer, because I do like my fuller body cigars, but I've learned to smoke everything
Absolutely. I
and
mean, it's
appreciate
pleasure to be on the show as well, and just don't hesitate to reach out to me for the next podcast or everything.
absolutely.
If I do have time, then I can definitely hop on it.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, if we have to record it like we're doing now, we don't mind doing that as well because we're trying to put out more content anyway. So we're looking at, maybe doing other shows or releasing during the week and maybe doing like a round table here and there with certain brand owners. So we're trying to pump out the content for everybody. So that's potentially something down the line that we're going to look at and maybe bring you guys on and kind of sit down with the consumers and other podcasters or consumers and kind of get your name out there.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you
No
for
problem.
having me
Thank
on
you,
the
sir.
show, and it's my pleasure. And do you guys will visit the trade show this year?
No, that's one thing we were going to try to, but timeline wise, with moving and everything over the last couple of months, kind of set us back. We had plans to go, but we got told in November that we had to move right before Thanksgiving.
Ah, I see.
So, that kind of whatever money we had set aside, we took to move to this place.
Hmm.
But the goal is to get to the trade show at some point. But if things change and I do make it to the trade show, I will let you know and I will come, visit the booth and see you guys and have a cigar together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because this year we got a way better location. We're
Okay.
next by Fuente, and then we're in front of the Alley Blue. So it will
Wow.
have a lot of
That's a
traction for
prime
this year.
location. Yeah, that's a hard location to get.
Yeah, exactly. That's why for
So,
this year, we will likely to make every customer or in every retail shop to satisfy. And on the trade show, we're going to serve tea pairing with cigar. So that's
very
something that
nice.
we're always trying to do when we smoking our cigar without the alcoholic beverage or
Right.
coffee. Usually we go with tea.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Um, yeah, that's something different. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, because tea can refresh your palate, and a lot of time
Mhm.
the tar or the tobacco flavor will be covered by tea, and then after you smoking, let's say half of it, a lot of time the cigar might get a little bit bitter, or it might be not that consist anymore, not because of the cigar, but because of your tongue. It's
Right.
already been like sabotage. So you need to
Absolutely.
have something to clean it up. And tea is pretty good to clean your palate.
I don't think I've heard that one. Interesting. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to try
Absolutely,
that one for sure.
absolutely.
So again, thank you for coming on. We will have you back on for sure. Um, and then they can follow you guys where?
So you guys can follow me on the Chimolly official, So chimolly is spelled CHIMOLLY. So you guys can type on Instagram chimolly, and then you can find us. And also for this year, we already dropped our commercial video on the chimolly Instagram, so you guys can take a look for our high quality commercial video that we have.
Awesome. And now they can order your cigars from Fox Cigars and
Yeah, there's a lot of websites that you
have them as
can
well.
looking for, like Ledger Cigar Club, Privada Cigar Club, Small Badge,
Okay.
Fox, definitely, and a lot of local lounge like Tobacco Premium Road. They also have our cigar in New York area. So
Okay.
don't hesitate to reach out to our website. If you do have any question, you can shoot the email over there, and then we will get all of the customer response. We will respond to you as soon as possible when you saw the message. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if we can meet each other or all of the clients from the local lounge or different places when we visiting, don't hesitate to come out to us and then talk about your cigar experience, because we really, really want to hear about that.
Absolutely. And that's great. Yeah, so listen, guys, go follow them. Obviously, you see we're enjoying their cigars. You'll be seeing more of their cigars posted up on our pages, because this is definitely something to have in the humidor for sure. So yeah, on that note, guys, it's been fun. It's been real. Thank you again, Sean, for coming on. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Take care. Good night.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.